What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us this little bit of your time. You know, I figured since we're kind of in the process of doing all the Die Hard movies, let's go to one that's Die Hard adjacent. I guess we could call it like that. A fun movie that's going to get a lot of buzz on YouTube, so I wanted to give it a chance. And I'll be honest, it was a pretty decent watch. But here to talk about it with me today are my amazing co-hosts, starting with my hetero life mate Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Well, I'm so glad that the day of all days that there was a giant update in Fortnite that I gotta fucking be here and I can't be playing my game. But whatever, it's
you were
fine.
on that earlier. I saw you.
You didn't see anything.
I saw when I was on there playing, so I know exactly what you were doing.
Oh, so you didn't invite me, is what you're telling me? Okay, I see what it is.
I hadn't played the newer version of the newer Fortnite in a while, so I was like, I'm gonna go play the new map, and I was like, good God, this map is congested and it's a mess. I immediately
wait till you get wait till you get an entire squad of weebs like using two different swords on you and you die before you even
that was how
you had an accident.
That was exactly how I died. It's like I worked over a couple of guys, and some other guy came out with a sword, and I was like, oh great, this game is all of a sudden Call of Duty. You want a gunfight with a knife now. Good job, Fortnite. You're
yeah, and then they decided to add two swords instead of replacing one for the other. So now you can just double sword it all day, which is really stupid. But
nonsense.
Whatever.
And of course, the sheriff of the Lone Star State, my man Tex. What's up, brother?
You know, this movie would have been a lot better if one of the guys had a gun duct taped to his back, but I didn't see it in this movie. I'm very upset. I missed opportunity. He didn't even take his shoes off. You want me to take this guy seriously? He's wearing shoes. What the hell? This movie sucks.
It could have been a shot-for-shot remake of Die Hard. I wouldn't have complained. A couple ways, it was definitely going for the Die Hard feel. There were some like shots that I was like, I know what you're trying to get at. You're not trying to shot-for-shot remake, but you're trying to tug at my heartstrings a little bit. But I was okay with it ultimately. But yes, we are of course here to talk about the film Carry On, which has been released on Netflix, not in theaters, which is usually a big mistake, and I think it also is in this movie. Carry On is a 2024 American action thriller film directed by, I'm going to try this. Okay, my French is terrible. Jaume Collet-Serra and written by TJ Fixman. The film stars.
He's actually Spanish, Frank. He's one of your people.
Well, that's very French. The film stars Taron Egerton, Danielle, Deadwyler, and Jason Bateman. Was a young TSA officer who was blackmailed into allowing a nerve agent on board a flight during Christmas Eve. Carry On was released by Netflix on December 13th of 2024 and received positive reviews from critics, earning more views in its opening week than any other film released on the streamer in 2024. On Rotten Tomatoes, 88% of 93 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 6.8 out of 10. The website's consensus review reads, quote, Taron Egerton and an against-type Jason Bateman make for great adversaries on Carry On, a throwback thriller that clears all checkpoints of plot logic with its confident execution. The film had a reported budget of $47 million, but again, because it was on Netflix, won't actually profit any money. I don't know why the hell Netflix does stuff like that, but that's neither here nor there. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. Give me some quick thoughts on Carry On before we get into the spoilery stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun cat and mouse type movie. Had some good bits of tension and some build up, and it's crazy the amount of angles that you'd have to cover. If you're doing this movie in the modern day, it's like, he's got a guy out in the van watching like 20 different cameras. He's got a hostage with him too, just for funsies apparently. This guy is in the airport, like maybe one lounge over next to him. He's watching every single move that this guy takes, every message he sends. So it's like, man, if you want to feel any more under the microscope, I mean, this guy is just right there. It was kind of fun. It was a good, action kind of, not really a thriller, but yeah, I mean, we all know dude's gonna save the day, so I'm saying it's satisfying when that uppercut from the fucking bottom comes all the way up that dude's jaw. Like, it was a lot of fun.
Tex, how about you? Give me your quick thoughts on Carry On.
Yeah, I literally watched. I had to finish watching the movie today at lunch before this. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I didn't even know, like, this was one of those movies that just, that Netflix dropped into the ether and said, here you go. And I was like 2 weeks late to the party as I am with most things. But yeah, it's fine. Like nothing. Like I stand by my statement that I told you whenever we were talking the other day about generic action flick. I think this one very easily fits into that, slot. It was, it's a copy of so many things. It feels like it. I don't like PG-13 horror, or not horror, but violence, I guess. And this is very much PG-13. So I don't want to shit on it too much in the start, but it was fine, I guess. Nothing special.
Yeah, I thought the movie was a lot of fun. For some reason, I had to make myself watch it. You'll get a couple of days. We'll have to get around to it eventually. But I was just like, I don't know if I'm feeling that into it because Netflix has got such a hit or miss record about their internal productions that I get kind of worried sometimes that maybe the movie will not be everything I want it to be. But pretty quickly in the movie, I was like, okay, I love Taron Egerton. He's a great actor. He's been in a lot of stuff that I really like. But Jason Bateman, I grew up watching Jason Bateman on the Hogans and all that stuff in the 80s. And to watch him kind of grow into a much more serious actor, not just kind of pigeonholed into that, like TGIF, sitcom kind of nonsense that so many of the guys in his
He was really good in Ozark. Yeah. They're on Netflix. I love that show.
To see him play kind of a badass was really, it was fun. I mean, look, this movie's got a lot of solid things about it, but the most solid thing, and I'll get to it in a minute, was the cast. I mean, the cast is really what makes this movie, the performances. So, it's a solid story. It's a solid film. I thought it was pretty well directed. I thought it was a pretty complete film. Did it blow me away? Not really. Again, we're watching, like we were talking about a minute ago, we're watching kind of a put up of Die Hard. It's just kind of like that old yarn kind of spun into a different kind of fabric. You know what I mean? But it was still really entertaining.
Die Hard in an airport, if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, it was still really fun and really entertaining. And I thought it was pretty good. I finished the movie pretty happy with what I saw. But again, it's the performances that really, really make this movie. I'll go into that more here in just a minute. But let's talk first about the. I don't have a good picture of the director. Let's talk about the director for just a second. Jaume Collet-Serra. Tex, you're gonna like this. He's got a horror background. So
I know he does.
He cut his teeth on the Blood and Guts, a couple of pretty well regarded horror films. What do you think of what he did with this movie, and or just Collet-Serra's body of work overall?
The first time I ever saw his work was House of Wax from 2005. The Paris Hilton movie, Jared Padalecki, all of those people that were in that film. I love his version of House of Wax. Obviously, it's not Vincent Price, but good luck trying to replace Vincent Price. There's no way. He also did Orphan, which was, I never saw Orphan in theater. I saw that one on DVD back in, was it 2009? It was probably 2010, because I believe that came out in 2009, I believe. But he's done a lot of good work. Like I said, those mainly two for me, but he's really solid in the low budget action kind of movies. I know he's done a lot of work with Liam Neeson over the years and whatever, but now he did direct that horrible Black Adam DC movie, which, God, that thing sucked. But I guess we won't hold that against him too hard, because if you're directing a movie with The Rock's probably the actual director of that movie, if I had to guess. But whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to smell what he's cooking. All right.
He's the guy walking around leaving water bottles full of piss everywhere on set just because. So he's The Rock. He gets to. So whatever.
But Jeremy, what do you think of the director, his job with this movie, and kind of his work overall?
Like I said, I think they're pretty good with this movie. It's not like it's like Tex says, it's not like it's anything overly special. It's just an action movie. So there's that. I'm looking over it too. Yeah, there was Carry On, Black Adam, which that happened. And also, speaking of The Rock, Jungle Cruise happened right before that. I don't know why.
He did Jungle Cruise as well? Holy crap. I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently he did. Commuter, Run All Night, Nonstop. unknown, like almost 4 Liam Neeson movies right in a row, which, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize he did Orphan and House of Wax. I mean, I love those 2 movies. And
whenever Paris Hilton gets it with that fence post or whatever in that movie, that is a great death scene in horror. I love that movie.
She has the best kill in that fucking movie. Comes out of fucking right through her forehead. That was awesome. Hey, we found Paris Hilton's best friend. It's about to be this pole right through your fucking dome. Dead.
Right.
What I don't see is I'm guessing he didn't do the second Orphan, which was actually a prequel.
No, I think that was made by somebody else. I can't think of who that is. Let me look that up.
That's weird. Yeah, so I mean, he's got some that I haven't. I was gonna say the same thing about these Liam Neeson movies. I'm like, yeah, they're action and stuff with Liam Neeson. They're all just taken, basically, over and over. So I don't know. Liam Neeson's out there kicking ass. So I mean, what am I gonna say? Yeah, he's got some good ones.
Yeah, as sports fans, we always hear this in the vernacular. We hear like this is the game you're supposed to win. And
right.
I think that's kind of where he was at with this movie. This was the movie that he was supposed to win. All he had to do was just keep it simple. You've got some good actors. You've already got a story. Again, you're kind of doing your own telling of Die Hard. You don't have to try that hard to create the new story. Just put your spin on it. This is a game that he should have won, and he won. He made a pretty good movie. It was very entertaining. The characters were more than one-dimensional. They weren't fantastic outside of Egerton and Bateman's character. They weren't great. Although I do love Theo Rossi and everything I see him in. But but the pregnant wife being in danger is the typical damsel in distress. You've got the kind of other people around that die along the course of the movie. They're just kind of the fodder we all know they're going to be. But I mean, it's that one. He serves you up the pitch, and you're supposed to hit it for a double, and you hit it for a double. That's what you're supposed to do, and that's fine by me. I really like the movie that he gave me right now. He gave me with this movie. I thought it was really entertaining. The pacing was great. There wasn't really a slow part of the movie where I felt myself I felt my heart rate kind of slowing down and my attention span starting to drift to other things. When I was watching this movie, I didn't feel like reaching for my phone to check like my fantasy football scores or anything. So I was intent on watching this. So he did a great job with this film. You guys talked about the other movies he made, House of Wax, Orphan. He's got the horror background. We talked about Black Adam. Yeah. Well, they can't. And I'm somebody.
Like you said, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, I'm somebody who hated
the cope that you just put out with that head tilt of trying to say something nice was tremendous. I got to applaud.
Look, Black Adam, in all fairness, I look at the same way I look at Flash. The movie was not good, but it was still really entertaining. There's a lot of stuff to like about the movie. It wasn't a good DC movie. If they would have just made that kind of separate from everything else, maybe it would have been looked at a little bit better. I don't know. But he also did a movie that you guys didn't mention yet called The Shallows. That one movie with Blake Lively from 2016. That script was on that script was on the blacklist for like 2 years. And
she's like stranded on
the buoy with the shark and all that. That movie got a lot of love, a lot of critical acclaim because of the tension building, how it wasn't always like fast-paced action, but you were always on the edge of your seat trying to see what the next scene was going to bring. And that's a hard thing to do, to make a slow movie that builds tension like that. It's not like, Freddy or Jason chasing the guy around with knives trying to kill him and stuff like that. That movie got a lot of love, and I haven't seen it yet, but a lot of people said that movie was on the blacklist, which is the best unproduced scripts in Hollywood, for like 2 years in a row. It finally got made. He directed it, and it got a lot of critical acclaim. He's got one movie coming out, though. I mean, part of me wants to be curious about this movie. Part of me wants to already poo-poo it a little bit. He's going to be doing a remake of the Sylvester Stallone 90s action film Cliffhanger.
Really?
That's on the list. Let me pull it up real quick so I can look at.
Hang on, what's the Sly movie where he arm wrestles? What's that one? Over the Limit? Over the Top. Yeah, they need to remake that movie. That's the one that they need.
I'm not gonna lie.
Just for that whole hat tilt scene. Just for that one scene alone is why I need to see that movie. I like that one part.
Yeah, I actually have it on DVD. Believe it or not. But let's see. The Untitled Cliffhanger film is an upcoming American action thriller film directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, written by...
You so lost your Mexican card today, by the way.
I did. It serves as a reboot of the 93 film Cliffhanger. It stars Lily James, Pierce Bronson, so they're getting some actors in it. Let's see.
Pierce Bronson also played Dr. Fate in Black Adam.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's got a bunch of people. It originally was going to be a legacy sequel, and Stallone was going to be reprising his role, and that was back in back in the mid 2010s, something like that.
2010s.
Back then, and eventually somebody else was supposed to direct too. And then I was reading this the other day. But eventually, Jason Momoa at one point was attached to it, and blah blah blah, and so eventually the director and Sylvester Stallone just kind of walked away from it all, and so now instead of being a legacy sequel, it's going to be a reboot or whatever, a remake, whatever they're going to call it. They don't call them reboots or remakes anymore because that has a bad connotation to it. But that's the one that kind of interests me. But man, this movie, Jungle Cruise, I still have not watched Jungle Cruise because I'm not interested in a lot of the shit that Disney does outside of Marvel and Star Wars anymore. But
even that's not doing well.
Yeah, and Black Adam, I mean, it was a movie. I wasn't mad when I left the theater. But this
is the perfect sound when you talk about Black Adam.
Hey, you know what?
I'll review right there.
That's one of the nicest things anybody has ever said about that movie.
It probably is.
So how's that for me being super positive? I'm the only one being like, man, it was a movie. I watched it. It did something to my eyes. Whatever.
There were lots of bright colors on the screen. That's about all you can say nice about that movie. That's about
I didn't ask for my money back, so we got that going for us. But let's talk about the cast now. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. What do you think of the cast of the film? And who stood out to you?
Well, I gotta fucking lie. I thought that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt for some fucking reason when I saw this pop up, and I was like, okay. And I knew, like, because his face is all over the damn movie. Jason Bateman. I was like, cool. All right. He's Jason Bateman. I don't know. I'm sure I picked somebody that like isn't the main star because I was like that right there. I mean, these two guys basically kind of make this whole movie to keep it going. So I just want to be like, maybe it's the goofy guy just trying to sell his mixtape, just trying to get by, who somehow has a job at the LAX as a fucking TSA agent. But that's, hey man, you got to start somewhere, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll go with him because lols. I don't know.
I don't know. Tex, what do you think of the cast of the movie? Did you like the cast, and who stood out to you the most?
Yeah, there were a couple good pieces here. Well, this is not my favorite, but honorary mention for poor Dean Norris. Because since Breaking Bad, he's just going to get cast and stuff to get killed traumatically. Like, that is his forever curse. He's going to happen from now on. But no, Theo Rossi made this movie for me. I mean, I loved Sons of Anarchy. I saw every episode. I used to have the whole thing on DVD. But
I think Sons of Anarchy is one of the top 5 TV shows ever made.
Oh, it's a tremendous, maybe the best ending to a show I've ever seen. But no, Theo Rossi in this movie, he's got that creepy, weird mustache thing going. Like, you just look at that guy and you can just smell psychopath. Like you see that guy right there, you're crossing the street to the other side because that's like some Ted Bundy, like Unabomber mess going on with that dude. But
I mean, that guy who I thought was like trying so hard to look like Giancarlo Esposito and fucking failed at it.
Yeah. Theo Rossi, he like whenever he hell, he starts the movie off getting into the van and casually putting that the firearm to the dude's head, just like it's nothing, like he's waking up, turning on a light switch, and time
to go to work.
He has one scene in this movie that makes me really question, because I've been to the airport. I'm sure y'all been to the airport, right? What parking garage is close enough for even that caliber of a sniper rifle for a laser scope to be that bright on somebody's head? I'm calling 15 levels of bullshit on that scene.
I have to say, if you've not watched the pitch meeting for this movie, it's hilarious.
Oh, there is.
I have not.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know he did a pitch meeting, but Like, you're in the terminal for the airport, and they're just right behind them, just through that window. Like, you have to walk 15 miles
like
to
the
even
front
get to the door.
like,
Right. Like, they're like, what are you doing here? But
especially
like,
in LAX, there's no fucking way. He just pulls right to the front.
that's what I'm saying.
Door.
Yeah.
Also, I'm like, you lose. There's a couple of points you lose with me because I'm like, no goddamn sniper sticks his fucking barrel out of fucking anything. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's not.
And I'm also like,
but
you want to start calling bluffs? I'm like, you're not gonna cap her right in front of fucking everybody right here and now. I'm like,
right, like there's
I'm like,
there's 10,000 people in this airport. Nobody else sees the bright red laser on the side of the chick's head.
like,
Nobody says anything.
Yeah, I'm like, that's you dropping the ball, Jason Bateman, not him. He didn't screw that up. So
right, like that
feels like an empty threat. I don't know.
The scene that solidified it for me is whenever he's chasing old girl in the parking garage. He has this look of just like, I'm going to butcher you when I get a hold of you. And he's hunting her down and doing the whole thing. I love Theo Rossi in this movie. We didn't hardly get enough of him. I thought he was good.
I thought it was funny because it's like, having grown up in California, I know for a fact that LAX, even the parking garage of LAX, is going to be like a shopping mall on a Saturday. There's going to be people all over it. So
right. Yeah. Like they're like,
I was like,
there's no way that.
I was like, I know, suspend disbelief. It's a movie. Let's have fun with it. But I was like, come on, guys, really? It's LA. This is one of the busiest airports in the world.
Yeah.
But whatever. Look, I love, like, again, I love the cast, and I've got to say, I said it a bunch of times. A movie like this is only as good as its bad guy. God, Jason Bateman is so good. I mean, he was
cool.
I mean, because like I said, going back to like the Hogan family and all this stuff, you know, the 80s and 90s that he did, that was all kind of family friendly. Doing stuff like Ozark and like even his role in Dodgeball, which is kind of against type a little bit, being that as the commentator in Dodgeball.
Oh, the goofy,
funny shit. It's like even that was a little against type. It shows good range. But man, I've never really seen him play a bad guy like this. And movies like this are only as good as the villain. And the villain here, he's fantastic. He's so methodical and single-minded. He's almost like the perfect like slasher film killer, only he's using a gun instead of like a machete or
he was more of a Jigsaw kind of killer than a Michael Myers, though. He was more of the like he attacked him, but he was more of the I'm smart enough, I'm not stronger than you kind of thing. So I did appreciate that.
Because there was a point where I'm watching this, I'm like, I'm kind of hope Jason Bateman pulls this off. I just kind of like his character. It's like, I don't want to root for the guy who's going to kill 200 and something people, but I'm like, I mean, it's a movie. It's not like I'm rooting for a real bad guy. I'm just rooting for the movie bad guy.
I constantly root for the bad guy in movies.
I mean, there were people that were watching like Avengers Endgame. They were like, Thanos kind of makes sense right now. I mean, we're being perfectly honest here. But,
guilty.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really fantastic. The one disappointment to me, though, the Danielle Deadwyler's character, the LAPD detective, she should have had so much more to do. I feel like she was just there to like put along getting him caught at the end.
No.
I liked her character, I liked her arc and all that, but I'm like, it should have been more than this. I can't really put my finger on why. But it's like her whole thing happening in the movie. Yeah, it's all kind of intertwined with what's happening with Taron Egerton in the movie and all that. Their paths are leading together, but she still felt so removed from the rest of the movie up until the very end. I feel like that could have been handled a little bit better. Like maybe she could have been at the airport for more of the movie instead of not getting there until the very end. I feel like.
Female Carl Winslow, which is what I call her for this entire movie, for the diehard purpose.
But Winslow's important to the. But he's there the whole time. He's at Nakatomi the whole time. You see what I'm saying? He's neck deep into it, much the same way that Bruce Willis's character is. And I feel like having her kind of off to the side doing this investigation, trying to figure out what's going on, while Taron Egerton is dealing with the direct stuff. I just felt like she was too separate from the rest of the movie. I feel like she should have been closer. I feel like that could have been handled because I liked her performance. I liked what everything was going on with her, but I just felt like she was too detached from the rest of the movie. That didn't work for me. But it wasn't her performance. It was just where her character was for all of the movie. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But it didn't take me out of the movie. It doesn't ruin the movie. I just think it would have worked a little better if she would have been closer. But let's talk about the plot now. And I mean, again, Die Hard in a manner of speaking, not exactly, But you know, basic action film set at an airport over Christmas. We've been here a couple of times, but again, it's not that you're telling a news story; it's that how you package it when you deliver it to us. Tex, what do you think of the plot of the movie? Did it work for you? Is there anything you would have changed?
It was, as I said earlier, Die Hard in an airport. I mean, of course, this plot works. They've done it a million times, and they're going to do it a million more. But how they did it, I liked the use of technology and how they didn't hide from it. Because I mean, in so many films, it's, you know, like when they made action movies in the 80s, they couldn't just pull out their cell phone and call somebody and, you know, the problem was solved. This film says, okay, obviously technology exists. We're in the LAX airport full of cameras and cell phones and Wi-Fi's and whatever. They used it to a plot point of literally getting the screenshots of text messages on the screen as they're doing it. I thought that looked really cool for a plot point. There was my biggest problem with the plot of this movie is it's very basic at the beginning, dragging for me. I don't like this movie was like an hour 58. It should have been a tight 90 and been done. I would have trimmed it down, but it's like there's no twists and turns at the beginning. But once you get to the end, there's like 15 twists and turns. I think they should have spaced those out a little bit more to let it breathe a little bit because there's so many things that you don't really get to feel out or enjoy because, oh, now see the guy that brought the bomb to the airport, he actually had this happen. And then this guy happens. And then the guy that's been working with female Carl Winslow, he was a bad guy all the time with a tattoo that was barely covered on his wrist, which how did nobody see that for the entire time? That was kind of weird. But, you know, that's like, you know, it was fine. Like I said, this was, you know, I'll save my ultimate review for the end, but, you know, the plot works for what it needs. This is a Netflix movie. I see why they didn't release this in theaters because I don't think it would have done very well, but, you know, that's just me.
I don't know. Jeremy, what do you think of the plot of the film? Did it work for you? Is there anything you changed?
Well, first of all, it takes place on Christmas Eve, not Christmas, so let's get that out of the way first.
We're not starting that. We're not going there.
We're not because it's not even there.
We're not starting that. I refuse. Even Alex and Dr. Nick last night were still making Die Hard Christmas bullshit shots. So I'm done talking about it.
Remember,
there's no convincing you people.
Remember, I
know. You and I are the only smart ones in this whole area of little YouTube. Everybody else is wrong. We're right. So I'm on. You know, I got you back. It's all good.
Yeah. So. No, it definitely does work. I think I more so agree with what Frank said. There wasn't really a moment to me where it felt like it kind of dragged. It kept moving along and kept getting just more and more tense. Like things like everything he tried, like we said with the tech said with the technology, everything he tried to do, like from trying to use his phone, and the first thing he says is like, no, put that in the lockbox, get that out of here. And even when I wouldn't have even thought of it either. He used his smartwatch to try and even like voice record a message, and he got caught doing that too. And he's like, nope, take your watch off now. I'm like, damn, it's, you know, because that's the big thing you got to address is like, yeah, well, there's so many ways, and especially you would think being in the middle of LAX airport, you know, someone would notice. But again, this guy's got every corner locked down, and all this dude can do is just sit there in his cubicle. Yeah, like this guy just watching every single thing happen. And relaying it to Jason Bateman. Yeah, it was cool. It did kind of have a slow-ish start. I mean, it's like I know we want to build up the characters, get the groundwork laid of like, yeah, okay, we know these two are obviously in love with each other. That they just find out that the girlfriend's pregnant, and I've seen the movie before. I'm like, well, something's gonna happen to her. The second you say that, so I'm like, God damn it, something's gonna happen to her, isn't it? It did. I mean, with Jason Bateman there on screen, it did have a cool opening. I mean, like when you start with him going to those two Russian guys to get the carry-on package in the first place, I was like, that's kind of a cool cold open where dude just starts bleeding internally and just falls over dead, and he just caps his cousin right in the forehead, and then just puts the thing in the trunk. I was like, what the hell's going on here? You got my attention, so.
Not to mention, they also hit a pregnant woman with a car in this movie as well. Like, and it just barely gets talked about. It just happens. So,
Well, I mean, if you want to skip to the end part of the movie, I mean, like where the hostage that was in the van picks up some big high-powered sniper rifle and fucking shoots dude in the back, and it only went through his body. I'm like, bullshit. That would have capped all three of them. Yeah, okay.
See,
There's things I'll let go, but I'm not letting that go. That's too.
Movies like this is why gun guys like us can't watch them because we start nitpicking and then the whole thing falls apart. So I can't help myself.
You even had me. I know Frank's got the picture of him holding Jason Bateman in the bathroom with that plastic gun he had. He's like, oh, if you shoot it too many times, it's gonna explode in your face. And I was like,
he shot the thing like 8 times. Like there is no freaking way.
Well, and then the guy in the red cap shot it about 20 more times. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But what ended up happening to that guy though? The gun blows up in his face.
Well, yes, but I was like, would that work? I'm like, I guess there's a lot of heat and pressure when you shoot rounds off, and it's just plastic. It's not like it's steel or anything. Yeah. So maybe I was just like, sure.
Not to mention the accuracy of those 3D printed guns. You ain't. It would have been even from that. Even for you might be accurate at that distance right there for that maybe 6 feet, but I'd say anything past 10 feet, you're chancing it. But whatever. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Hell, the effective range of a 9mm is only like 70 feet or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like from where that guy is to Jason Bateman. I'm like, yeah, you could definitely get him, but that's your heavy.
We're about to go from a movie review channel to The Harsh Truth Presents Gun Talk, so I'm down for it. I am prepared to do that, sir. So
that'd be a fun series. Just talk about like stupid things and
gun
stuff in movies.
Talk about guns, Hell yeah.
Yeah, but that's me being a nitpicky asshole, and I know, like I said, all three of us on this panel, like you kind of like cocking the head to the side.
We know our shit.
No, wait a minute. That would have killed all three of them.
Well, actually, be that guy.
No, really. Yeah. But whatever. And also, like I said earlier, with the sticking your rifle barrel out of the fucking van, I'm like, I get it. You could have just showed it and have it pop open. I'm like, I know what he's doing. And then you just see the laser beam go in her forehead. I'm like, I don't need to see you stick your whole gun out. Like, you're an idiot. I hope you get caught.
He did.
Yeah, but it worked. It had some cool, tension, and there were some twists. Like, I think you had a picture of the guy with the red cap, where it's like you find out, oh, he's actually not involved. Well, he's involved, but not in the way he thought. He thought he was one of the guys under Jason Bateman's little entourage, but he was just as much of a victim.
As my husband. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and I was wondering the whole time, like, who the hell is the guy in the van? Are you gonna tell? Oh no. I was like, oh shit, one of you or both of you is gonna die. I can already tell you. Yeah, like dude in the red cap was also just as much in the victim chair as main character.
Now that you're bringing that up, the blue tinted haired chick.
I felt like she was very, I was like, damn it.
She was very integral, but we got very little of her. She pops up like, this isn't my stuff. And I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, that was all she was supposed to do. Was like, I didn't think about it either. I was just like, oh yeah, all she was supposed to do was put that tray back through and say, yeah, this isn't mine, and that's how he ends up with it. Like it was just get that to him. So it just sucks that even like that's still a gut punch. Oh god damn it, she was in on it too, which sucks. I guess I'm going to address it because it didn't start off. You didn't start off well with me because when this guy is first talking to the TSA agent, he's just going on about your generation this, your generation does this, I'm like, dude, you're fucking one generation behind him. Shut the fuck up. Really? Are we doing this Gen X millennial thing again? No one cares about you. Shut up and eat your fucking fries or whatever he was doing. Christ, I'm that much older than him. Like, don't act like now. That's maybe what ruined it for me. Where I thought like I know it's Jason Bateman as the bad guy, but I was like, yeah, but now I want to see him. Like, it would have made more sense if it was some like older, like grizzled, like cynical man that's like really just fucking wanting to watch the world burn. I'm like, no, it's just Jason Bateman who's like 55. Like,
so was he Russian? Like, was he the organization that Jason Bateman represented? Was he one of the defense guys that wanted the bill to get passed, so that's why they sacrificed the woman, or they wanted to sacrifice the senator? They hinted at him being Russian, like, but he doesn't have a Russian accent.
No, he's.
I thought he was just hired by them, right? Like, he's just hired to get the job done.
he's not affiliated to anybody. He goes where the money is.
So he was just a hired gun.
He was a hired gun.
Yeah.
If the Americans pay him more money, he'll work for the Americans. If the Russian pay him more money, he'll work for the Russians.
Because
he
like
really have any allegiance.
Like right there at the end of the movie, once they were like the Jewish guy with the earbud in, when he's like, "Oh well, this bill, that this senator presented to blah 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 in Russians." They throw so much exposition out in that one scene. It's like, wait a minute. So is he Russian?
I was like, huh?
It like what? Like I think I need to go back and rewatch this to kind of catch it. I don't know. Like
all I caught was I'm like, oh, okay, you're killing a congresswoman because political reasons. Even though you're like, I'm not a terrorist. Terrorists kill for religious or political beliefs. I'm like, that's literally what you're doing, dipshit. Like,
literally, this is a political hit.
He's not. No. He's not.
Don't give me the jigsaw bullshit. Well, he didn't actually kill her.
No, he's killing
with his hand on the trigger.
But he doesn't really give a shit about this particular bill. The people that are hiring him do. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care at all. No. He doesn't care at all about the bill. If he was sitting at home,
you'd still get fucking slammed for murder. I don't even. No.
If he got caught, but if he was sitting at home just watching TV and this news came across and be like, whatever, he'd flip right through it. He wouldn't get mad until somebody calls him and says, hey, you see that bill thing on TV that they're talking about? Yeah, I'm going to give you $1 bajillion to go kill this chick. Okay, now I care. He doesn't care about the bill. He cares about the money. He makes it very clear that he's not there for any political purposes.
I don't know. This one of those things.
but
this is one of those things that feels,
dude. Like, yeah.
This is one of those things that feels like to me that the writer may not be as good as he thought he was, so he's just going to throw a lot of buzzwords and exposition in just to cover his crap, just so you figure it out later on. It's kind of what it felt like at that moment in the movie. But I don't know. Was he Russian or not? Who cares?
I think we're mislabeling this movie. I think at the moment where he jumps on the little baggage loader or whatever the hell and like races off at a blazing like
takes off,
things go, to get to the plane. I was like, I looked over at her and I was like, this is just a more serious, intense version of Mall Cop. That's literally what this is.
Holy
this
crap!
Motherfucker is just gonna save, right? He's just gonna save the whole day. And it's just not as
so instead of a Segway, he has the luggage cart. That's just basically what it is.
Yeah, that was the moment that I was like, oh, this is Mall Cop, isn't it? This is hilarious.
I love the plot. I thought it was good. I can't think of anything I would have changed except for what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, like I said, in my life, the little badass Gen Xer got outplayed by a fucking millennial that made fun of all the movies. So.
But that's one of the things with the plot that I really like is that he is in control for the entire movie, even when things don't go the way he wants them to go. Because the fact that Taron Egerton even finds himself in this position at all was an accident. True. And they play it out in the movie like really, really fast. So one of the things I liked about the bad guy in this is up until the very last second, he's a step ahead of everybody. He is a step ahead of everybody. He's got somebody looking like the whole thing with the watch, the whole thing with like catching him on the phone. Within a couple of minutes, he's got all the information he needs to get Taron Egerton's character on board because he's got all these advantages. And there's really not a point in the entire movie except for the very end. It all goes down on the airplane. But he's not a step ahead of everybody. He is way ahead because even when this one scene comes up,
I don't know.
He's got him at gunpoint in the bathroom. It's like he's got options. He's just like, look, either you're going to kill me, whatever. If that's the case, I'm going to be dead and I won't care anymore. Or you're going to do this. Or you're going to do this thing because I've activated the bomb. And if you kill me, you're not going to deactivate it, and all these people are going to die anyway. So the thing that you don't want to happen is going to happen anyway. So let me change the status quo. And by changing the status quo, he keeps control of the situation. So he's always in control of almost really everything that's going on. Because even when he's at gunpoint in the bathroom, it's like, dude, if you kill me, the game's just over and I don't care. but if you do, here's what's going to happen. So the option he gives him is you can either try to find some way to stop these people from dying, or you can let them die. But if you want to stop these people from dying, you can't kill me. That's how he's always moving those pieces around the board. So he's always one step ahead of everybody else. The very last second, when even I didn't realize what the hell he was doing until he did it. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I'll tell you, I'll go into a little bit later. I'll go to a little bit later why so that wouldn't happen. But let's see.
I still would have shot him in the. Oh.
The BJ saying the 9mm has 35,000 pounds of pressure.
Actually, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Frank,
coming out of. It would make sense.
I'm going to challenge you a little bit on that. I think Jason Bateman's character loses control about 3/4 of the way through. Once female Carl Winslow gets more involved in like things like once Taron Egerton has tried to, mess with it or whatever, and he has to go hunt the bomb. There's one point in this movie where you can clearly say he was not even planned for everything, and it's the most simple plot point when he goes to put the piece of luggage itself into the carry-on rack. Literally, the whole film is named Carry-On, and it wouldn't even fit in the carry-on. So, like, even the littlest thing, he didn't really have control of.
But he did. That was why he changed the bag. Because he even says as he's putting the bag up there as he gets in the plane, he goes, "No, I measured.
Yeah, I measured this. I know it worked, but it didn't.
At that
fit,
time,
though.
he didn't know it didn't fit. Now, but again, he's seeing the whole board. So even as things don't go exactly the way he wants, he can process the situation in front of him. That's why he goes down into the cargo hold anyway. Which I'll talk about that later in the trivia, which I thought was kind of funny. But even going down the cargo hold was him going to access the bomb. So he knew, okay, I'll go ahead and put it in baggage. I'll go down there and get it later. I
think he is more Jigsaw-like. Go back and watch the Saw movies and like the actual John Kramer games. He doesn't know exactly how everything's going to lay out. He kind of like you talked about a minute ago. He kind of plans for everything so it appears as if he's in control, when in reality, he just laid out 5 different options so he's covered for whatever may come. He doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. There's 15 turns in the second half of this movie that prove that. So, I don't know. Is he smart? Yeah. But, at the end of the day, he gets beaten by a knockoff Bruce Willis in a fucking refrigerator. So, come on now. What are you gonna do?
That was pretty fucking badass. I was like, that is brutal as hell. He just locked his ass in a sealed up vacuum and kicked that whole fucking bomb in there. I was like, Jesus, let him just choke to death in his own blood. Damn.
See, I knew this wouldn't happen, but what I wanted to see is like, Taron Egerton is struggling to keep that refrigerator closed right. And then once Guy dies, he's like, oh, okay. And he takes his arms off, and then the air, it opens, and then just everybody dies. That would have been the way to end this movie. But I didn't direct it, so it's all good.
That would have been a cooler. It would have been a much funner again. It would have been a funner ending if the whole plane would have crashed. They're like gas everywhere.
give me the Snyder cut of this movie where the plane lands and everybody's dead except for the pilots. That's the ending I want for this movie. Then I'll be happy.
No, what he would have done, he'd have been like, "Save Martha." And Jason Bay would have been like, "Why did you say her name?
What did you say
her name?"
And that's why he lets go of the door, because he says Martha, and then he raises his hands up, and then everybody dies. That'd be a great ending to it. That I'm down for.
But we'll talk about the ending real quick. I thought the ending was really cool. The whole baiting him out so he would open the fridge so you could push him in there and throw the gas in there with him. It kind of reminded me of the you guys see The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery when he puts that one piece of the stuff in his mouth and just kind of uppercuts him so it busts in his mouth. And it like a VX gas. It's just going down his throat and chewing the guy up right in front of you. It was that kind of cool death. I love that one. Yeah, it was also, look, I always say I want a couple of things from a movie like this, and I'm satisfied. I want the good guy to win, the good guy to get the girl in the end, and the bad guy to die in some horrific, awesome visual way at the end. This movie gave me all 3 of those things as far as I'm concerned. It's a winner. That's all of those things, all of that criteria was met. So as far as I'm concerned, the movie's an A. I can nitpick a few things, sure, but overall the movie's a winner for me. But let's move on to a little bit of trivia now. And I managed to find some good stuff in the movie, even though the movie is relatively new and it's Netflix and they don't release a lot of shit. Let's see. The North Winds. The name Northwind used as a bogus airline in this movie is a reference to the bogus company used by Microsoft in their Office database software, Access.
I thought it was just a joke on Northwest or something. That's what I thought it was.
There's actually a couple different references in here. I'll get to one of them. I'll get another one of them later. Actually, here is the next one right here. The name of the airline at the end of the movie is Trans Global Airlines. That is certainly an homage to the 1970 classic disaster movie Airport, where the bomber picks a Trans Global Airlines flight in order for his terrorist means.
But there's a superior movie called Airplane. That's out there as well.
I almost made that one of those quotes on my line. I should have been like, the white zone has always been for loading and unloading.
Right.
Listen, Karen, don't start with your white zone shit again.
That's one of the funniest parts of that movie, the whole conversation we're having. Let's see. The Novichok agent in the suitcase was also the product used in a British miniseries, The Salisbury Poisonings, in 2020 to attack Sergei and Yulia Skripal, the real-life story of Russians using the agent against ex-devil agent working for the British government.
So that means this is the Carry-On Cinematic Universe, the COCU. Is that what we got here now? Are we building in our first phase?
Maybe. I love it. Looking through this, there's a lot of throwbacks to other movies, which I think is kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
I'll save that one for last because I want to have some fun with Tex. Let's see. In a nod to another.
I swear to God, if you talk about a goddamn Christmas movie, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit.
I'm not saying anything. In a nod,
I'm not denying it either.
In a nod to another Christmas movie, Gremlins from 1984, Kopek is actually named after the cat owned by Ruby Deagle.
Really?
Nice. Yep. That's funny.
Well, hang on to that. Put that picture back up for a minute. Does Taron Egerton? He looks just like Conor McGregor without the beard, or am I tripping? Like I kept seeing Conor McGregor in this movie.
Maybe.
Like I said, I saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so I don't know. I
saw Conor McGregor. Now maybe all of us white people look the same, and I'm just realizing. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
I saw Conor McGregor, and I'm white, so I can say that. So piss off you too. But whatever.
It's okay. We're taking it back. Okay, I'm taking it back.
I'm telling you what, I'm one of the few people that wants to see another Kingsman movie. I thought the first Kingsman movie,
the last one,
I liked the second one, even though it wasn't nearly as good. But I think it's a really fun kind of not James Bond, but modern day spy thing without having to try to be James Bond. I actually love the Kingsman movies.
Last one I saw was The King's Man, where they're on top of that plateau fighting. Yeah, that's the last one I saw.
It's a decent movie, but it's not the same. I want to see Taron Egerton come back and do.
I saw that on Christmas a few years ago because I didn't have anything else to do. I went and saw that.
The best part of that movie was Rasputin. Rasputin was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Rasputin was cool in that movie. I liked him. Yeah.
Let's see. The plot of this film, someone said, could be easily described as one part Phone Booth from 2002 and one part Red Eye from 2005. Yeah. I actually watched, believe it or not, after I watched this movie the other night, I actually watched Phone Booth.
That's with Tom Cruise, isn't it? Red Eye?
No, Red Eye is Cillian Murphy and I think.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different movie then.
Jodie Foster, I think. Jodie Foster is on a red-eye flight with her daughter. Her daughter comes up missing. Nobody believes her. Cillian Murphy is the bad guy. I think I saw a little bit of the movie once. I don't think I watched it all the way through. But, Phone Booth, like I said, ironically enough, I watched this the other night, and then I was scrolling through Hulu, and I found Phone Booth, which I think is one of the most underrated, awesome movies.
Oh, I was thinking Collateral, not – okay, I was thinking of a different movie.
Yeah, Phone Booth is a really unfortunate story because, it involves a sniper picking on a guy and causing chaos. It just happened to release in 2002, which was right about the time the Beltway sniper thing was going on. And so, so I think a week or two before this movie was supposed to release in theaters, all that stuff started. And they were like, well, maybe we're going to delay the release a bit. And because that thing kind of drug on for several weeks, they were like, maybe we're just going to put this directly to video. It's a little close to home right now. Everybody was still kind of sensitive on the terrorism thing because it was just like a year earlier than 9/11 went down. So it's like, maybe we'll just go ahead and release this to video. It's really unfortunate. It's a lot of fun. It's a fantastic movie.
Maybe we just won't show Spider-Man, catching a bunch of guys in a helicopter between the Twin Towers. Maybe we just don't do that. It's a cool
I will
shot.
say,
That's
like one of the opening shots of this movie is L.A. on fire, like on that church or building or whatever. I'm like, ooh, very, very bad time to show that. That was
That's
yeah, when they zoom in at the end, it says LA Fire Department. I'm like, ooh, they're not doing so well.
I'm like, wait a minute, that one's gonna hit differently, knowing what real world is happening right now.
Well, maybe that's why they're all at this damn airport trying to.
You think the Simpsons can tell the future?
Carry On was LA on fire. Who knew? Who knew that could happen with such poor management?
Yeah. Let's see. Contrary to what this movie says, there is actually no way to access the cargo hold from the passenger cabin.
I've only been on the airplane twice. I had no idea. So I didn't know.
There was like 2 or 3 things in this movie that like bugged me about stuff like that. Whereas like he gets a 911 call out and he tells them like hang that phone up right now. And
then nobody checks up on it.
Well, no, I'm like,
nobody.
No, you don't just call 911 and hang up on them. They will fucking either call you back or they will be there like that. Especially if they know
they legally have to.
Like, they're gonna be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part I think that drug on that I'm like, not until you introduce the agent chick, I was like, are we gonna talk about the fact that he did that? No one is there already?
They did tell her that they got a 911 call from someone at the airport and that it was from Taron Egerton's character, so
well, at least she was the one who was like,
one of the things that got folded into her thing that made her want to look in that direction anyway. So kind of makes sense.
Well, he just walked to the back of the plane, and I'm like, no one's gonna stop him. Okay, and he just magically pulls up a fucking like, there's a hatch there. I'm like, there's not. Also, when he went up, I mean, they went up in the plane, right? I'm like, wouldn't that have killed him? In the cargo hold, you go up that fucking high. There's no air.
The cargo hold's pressurized, as far as I know. It's just not temperature controlled.
Right. I'm like, because don't you freeze to death? You don't exactly.
You wouldn't freeze to death. You'd be cold. It'd be like being in a refrigerator, but it's not.
It's Christmas Eve.
Well, just pull a Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation and get Grandma's old sweater and blankets out of the attic when you're watching the whole movie. You'll be fine.
I think the most hilarious and realistic part was like the plane.
Y'all are missing
the back color. I'm like, well, that's realistic. That's funny.
The other thing that really bugged me about this movie, they clearly showed, chair A where where Taron Egerton is sitting, and chair B where the other guy is sitting. The white guy that didn't like him is like 5 feet away, right? Taron Egerton is talking to himself in the craziest ways for 90% of this movie. At not one point did that guy over here say, hey, dude, you okay? You need a water, some air, a cigarette, anything. Nobody says a word in the LAX airport. Like, there is so many holes.
One of the things that I read about this movie is like there were people that worked for the TSA that watched the movie and were like, "There's no fucking way 99% of the shit would even happen in the airport." They were like, the reason why we like the movie is because it makes the TSA guy the good guy. But they like the security stuff that they do. They say none of that stuff is right, but it's
just like with the TV show that's on TV right now, Landman. I worked in the oil field. I know people who work in the oil field right now. 99% of that garbage, that's not real either. So you have to, when you're making something that's like a realistic job, you have to kind of play fast and loose. But this movie is like, okay, so you call 911 and they don't follow up. You're talking to yourself for 90 minutes and nobody says a word. Your boss gets killed. Nobody asks about him ever again. He's just gone.
Like I said, go watch the pitch meeting. He tears all the
He does say the real, like he points the real shit out. Like I gotta go watch it after this.
His boss got stabbed in the neck and is gone. He's like,
go
back about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something. Whatever.
That's gonna be difficult for him to disarm that bomb in the middle of the air. Actually, super easy. I bet.
It's all because of these things. Is why I say this should not have been released theatrically, because it would have made
I don't think
a
it's
little
a
bit
big
of
enough
money.
movie that it needs this theatrical. It's not like a.
I don't think so. either.
Because airport security is so lax, and some asshole can just drive out onto the flight line.
Right? Yeah, it's
one of those things. But how are we going to explain that in the script?
It was super easy, barely an inconvenience.
God damn it! There it is.
Like I said, that pitch meeting is awesome. All of his videos are awesome, but like this one in particular.
Oh yeah.
And I watched
get
this one
excited when I
before.
see one.
I watched this one before I actually watched the movie too. And I just
Oh
kind of like,
no!
I didn't mean to. I just kind of like, oh, he's got it up. I'm gonna click on it before even really thinking about it. But like 3 seconds into it, I was already laughing. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy, he's doing it again. He's doing it, making another great video. But
Well, how are you going to be shooting guns? Like they shot like 20 rounds, and nobody in the airport heard anything. We're like, hey, there's gunfire over here.
Well, they were
Not even just that.
the machinery and shit. I don't think you would have heard it underground. Or not underground, but
There's
in the order.
They're having a fist fight in the bathroom with 10,000 people in the airport. Nobody else. I've been in airport bathrooms. You have to fight to get a stall or whatever. There's just so many things. Like the premise sounds good, but once you try to do it, it's like you said, with the TSA workers. I don't know. So many.
Kind of like when something happened, like the pilots up front saw it happen. I mean, he glanced and he missed the button come on. I was like, yeah. I'm like, you would have hit something, would have given that away. Like that.
Also, they were talking about like, oh, there's no cameras down here. It's all automated. There's nobody down here. It's like there are cameras all over the place at airports nowadays. I mean, even pre 9/11, they were starting to put cameras kind of in all places. They just didn't do it fast enough. So yeah, there's cameras everywhere in an airport now.
Yes, since the Patriot Act came into like everything is monitored now. It's stupid.
I have heard that the only place that they don't put cameras in airports is in bathrooms. That's because they can't legally do it.
Yeah, like you
Right.
can't.
Yeah.
So,
but there's cameras everywhere. So I also thought it was funny that there's like some back door that he has a key to like the liquor store at the airport. I'm like, why is there like a hidden door there? I don't. Is that does the people that work in that store know that that's there? Like they're just like grabbing a bottle off the shelf for somebody, and then the door just swings open, and it's like a security guy, and you're like, oh hi, how you doing? It's like it was just such a weird place for a door, but I was like, whatever, it works for the movie, so I'm gonna go with it. But let's see, getting back to the last part of the movie again. This is more of a goof rather than a piece of trivia, but. If the traveler did manage to open the emergency door to parachute out of the plane before the bomb went off, that would leave the plane with a huge breach in the aircraft cabin, causing the air within to constantly get sucked out. Meaning that when the bomb went off, all of the gas would have gotten sucked out of the plane before it could harm anyone, making his entire effort pointless.
I mean, not all.
But wouldn't the damage have been? The damage would have been done by that point because I mean, obviously, if the bomb explodes, boom, gas goes everywhere. Yeah, it's going to get sucked out, but you're still going to
have like a mask or something first to keep himself from breathing in, and then just take off. I don't know.
Well, the funny thing was, I was looking at it. I was like, I saw the parachute, but I didn't see any like face covering or
there was no respirator
or anything. And if you're jumping, because there's a big difference between parachute jumping height, which is like 12,000 feet, and the cruising altitude of an aircraft, which is like 35,000 feet. That's a halo jump. You need special equipment, oxygen, stuff like that, because the air up there is just too thin. He probably would have passed out before he had a chance to pull his chute anyway. But also, I don't think it was an exploding kind of bomb. I think it was just going to release the gas, so they call it the bomb. But I think really it was just a release system rather than explosive.
So the more we talk about this movie, he's not Jigsaw. He's Wile E. Coyote. This is who this guy is. He's Wile E. Coyote. Jigsaw.
This is his DB Cooper moment. He's gonna fuck the whole thing up. Like that sucks.
If he flipped that briefcase over, it's gonna say "property of Acme" on the bottom of that bomb. That's what it's gonna say.
That's what the label said at the bomb there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He didn't pay attention to who packed his parachute. It was going to be like what's the nuts on what's the movie I was thinking of? The Goods with Jeremy Piven. Remember when you guys ever seen that movie? He talks about how Will Ferrell's character died before the start of the movie, and he goes to pull the parachute, and all the sexual marital aids come falling out.
died in a hang gliding
And
accident.
then much like Wile E. Coyote, he would have hit the ground and would have left the imprint of his body going down.
If only Jason Bateman had just painted a tunnel on the wall and had Taron Egerton run through it, he might have succeeded in this movie.
Well, see, this is the funny thing. I wish Frank had the clip of it from Dodgeball. We just need to have him have this whole plan and then cut to him going, well, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
Let's see if it pays off.
That would have been perfect.
Got to get that one now. Damn it! I'm glad you said that. But one more piece of trivia, and we'll have some general discussion before we get out of here. And here we go, Tex. You ready for this one?
I swear to God,
Okay.
do your word.
While doing press for the film, star Taron Egerton revealed that his famous Christmas movie is Die Hard. So eat shit.
Wow. He's not even American, so his opinion doesn't count. So fuck that guy. That's all I got to say.
We also literally have Bruce Willis saying it's not a Christmas movie, so fuck you back.
Christmas? No, we tolerate you Christmas people from August until the end of freaking December. Once December's over, y'all don't get to talk about it anymore. Number one, Die Hard's
after Thanksgiving until
I'm not even a
Year.
Christmas
That's
person, so I'm on your side about Christmas.
No. I say that to say this. You diehard Christmas people are even worse because y'all won't shut up about it. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Who cares?
I think that's the problem, yeah.
You buy your own admission. Well, any movie's a Christmas movie if you watch it at Christmas. So you're just you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're not even faithful to your own camp. Die Hard, you know what? Die Hard sucks. All right, I hate that movie. Just because of you people.
The funny thing is, the funny thing about it is, I blatantly lied to you. He actually said while doing doing press for the film, Taron Egerton reveals his favorite Christmas film to be The Muppet Christmas Carol from 1992. I just wanted to poke at you a little bit.
So not only do you speak out of both sides of your tongue, but that's a lying tongue that you have in your mouth, sir. That's what it is.
I have to put it's the same reason I put A1 sauce on steak. At this point, I just do it to piss you off.
I quit the channel.
I'm just doing it to poke you a little bit. Just got to throw an elbow here and there into the ribs.
Jesus.
If you're putting A1 on steak, you just find the nearest cliff. Just jump. Take a long leap. Do what you got to do. You're living life wrong.
I'll just
come on, firmly but politely to leave
to break my fall.
Well, it's about all it's good for, because if you're so crappy at cooking a steak that you need some $5 A1 glob bloop, bloop, all over the top of it, you're probably like cake farts and all that other kind of weird shit. What the hell's wrong with you people?
I don't know what a cake fart is, but okay.
I don't know what that is, and I'm not about to Google it. So
I'm afraid to Google that
before we get banned off of YouTube.
That's going to take.
I use that example because it is one of the most vilest words. I didn't know about it either until somebody told me what it was, and I'm like, "You're disgusting, and I don't want to speak to you anymore." Google it at your own risk. But A1 on steak, A1 steak sauce on steak. Once I'm president, within the first 10 minutes of me being president, I'm writing a bill. Anybody that puts A1 steak sauce on a steak, you are getting a public death. We are bringing back the gallows for you steak sauce users because y'all suck.
Rachel's warning: no one Google that one.
Yes. Like I said, I went that extreme because you start this diehard Christmas shit. Let it go, man. We're right. We're never going to accept it. But it's, you people are.
Sometimes stirring the pot is just so fun. That's good stuff. But probably a good place to start winding things down now. What did I say the budget for this was? $47 million? Yeah, $47 million.
Jesus.
Tex,
for a Netflix movie?
Yes. Now, Tex, you said that it's a good thing they put it on Netflix as it wouldn't have made any money. I disagree. $47 million is an awfully low budget for a movie these days. I can't imagine that if this movie would have done well in theaters, that it wouldn't have made twice its money back. I mean, they're not going to spend a ton of money on marketing the way that you would on like a Marvel or DC or Star Wars, one of the big, huge films. But it's like if you just put a couple of commercials out there. I'm not talking about buying ad time in the Super Bowl or anything. A couple of commercials and let it go for a couple of weeks in theaters. You can't tell me this movie wouldn't have at least made its budget back and broke even. Because this is my biggest problem with Netflix is they'll spend. What do they spend on Red Notice? Let me go look real quick because that was a huge Red Notice film. We're tired again. Oops, apparently I can't type. Red Notice 2001 action film. That budget was $200 million. Do you know how much money they made off that film?
Not bad.
$0 is how what they made off that film.
So what would be a good?
So because here's what they're doing is that I'm okay with Netflix and the streaming services making their own original content to bring people in. I mean, for Netflix, again, it worked for like Stranger Things. Stranger Things has been huge. That's the kind of thing that a lot of people went and got a subscription to Netflix just to watch that show, even if it was just for a month or two. So that's something that you can bring money in. But why would you spend $200 million on a movie that is not going to bring people to your streaming service and not put it out in theaters? How could you do that? And then they get mad because of password sharing is costing them so much money. You spent $200 million on a movie that's got three of the most bankable stars in Hollywood in Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and friggin' Gal Gadot. You've got huge stars. Why not put that out there and at least try to break even? Even if the movie sucks, look, even if all you do is get us $100 in box office or $100 million in box office, you still only lost $100 million as opposed to $200 million.
Yeah, but
bare minimum, you're going to cut some losses. Why not put it out there? I think this movie wouldn't have made $1 billion. It would have been up there with Avatar and Endgame. But if it would have made $150 million, that would have been a tremendous profit, a huge financial gain for Netflix. It would have helped them out a lot. Why don't you put these movies out in theaters?
If they were going to go theatrical with this, I still say they would have. I think this movie's not that good. I mean, it's just my, obviously I'm not spoiling how I feel about it here. I don't believe that this movie is that good. The only way theatrical I think it would have made any money is cut it down to 90 minutes and release it at Christmas. I think that's the only way it's going to do anything.
Well, they did.
I think
it came out the 13th or something like that.
Right. No, I'm saying if you went theatrical though, like make it a December release, kind of like they did with. I don't know how much money Red One made, that Rock Christmas movie that came out. I don't think it made a lot, but this movie is it's a generic action movie. Like, I've seen so many action films, I'm burnt out on them. That's why I don't really care about the Die Hard movies. Die Hard 4 is really the only one, if I ever see a Die Hard again, that's the one I like. There's so many Steven Seagals and Jean-Claude Van Damme's. All these other different action movies I've seen throughout the years, I'm burnt out on them. And this is just going to get thrown on top of that pile. It's a less as good, it's a not as good version of a Die Hard movie. And I don't know, I don't think it would do well theatrical.
So Red One has made $185.7 million at the box office. It's probably still in some theaters somewhere, but it's probably where it's going to be. How much? That movie had a budget of $200 to $250 million. So that movie is a huge brick. You can't tell me this movie at $47 million wouldn't have done at least that much.
I don't know. It's just
185 might be pushing it. I'm thinking maybe 150. But
I think this
kind of breaking even though. So I mean, it just kind of would have midlined, I guess.
I think this movie, the first weekend it came out, it would probably be its best weekend, and then the drop off would probably be 60 to 70% for the second weekend box office. If I had now, of course, I'm just guessing because this is never really going to happen. But I don't see this as a movie of, that Carry On movie, it was awesome, we got to go see it again. I don't think this would get praised. I think people would walk out of their first week and go, it's a worse version of Die Hard, we'll just stay home, is basically what I'm saying.
So last weekend, January 2nd to January 12th. Maybe that's not fair. Maybe we'll go. Well, I mean, Den of Thieves 2. I honestly, I think we should probably go back to at least the date that it came out. That would probably be fair.
I had tickets to that, but once I heard the reviews, I'm like, yeah, I'll just skip it. Once I heard it was just Gerard Butler fatly doing scenes poorly, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to see that. I'm out. So.
Let me go weekly.
Well, at least it wasn't Kraven the Hunter, which had like $130 million and made like $59 million back. Like,
hey,
yikes.
I'm pretty sure Sony just makes those movies just for the tax write-off. Like that whole Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. Yeah. They're just doing that to launder money. That's all Sony's doing. But, whatever.
Okay, so in the week that this would have come out, December 13th through the 19th, Moana 2 was number 1 in its fourth week.
Of course, yeah.
Wicked was number 2 in its fourth week. Kraven the Hunter.
Bad weekend for this to come out.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like it probably would have done well because past Moana and Wicked, it was kind of an open field because Kraven didn't do very well. Gladiator 2 was in its fourth week. That made $11 million. Interstellar had a re-release. Red 1 was in its fifth week. And then after that, it's a bunch of small shit, a bunch of Christmas re-releases, White Christmas, some international stuff I've never heard of. Let's see, Y2K movie, Flow, The Order, some other little bit of Christmas stuff. So you can't tell me if you wouldn't have released that in theaters on the 13th instead of releasing it to your streamer, it wouldn't have finished in the top 10 and made at least a few million. And because it was a fairly decent movie that has gotten some decent press, you can't tell me that it wouldn't have had legs and maybe carried on and made you at least your money back.
This movie felt like a streaming quality movie, which is what it was. This did not, well, and to be fair, I think there's a lot of movies that get a theatrical release that should go straight to DVD or straight to, streaming these days. But this, to me, was not theater worthy. I would not have paid to go up see this.
In 1974, a lot of people would have said that about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, but I don't think that's accurate.
My point is that you never know how good a movie's going to be until the people actually go see it. That's because look.
But you're talking about
you got to get eyes on. To be fair, how it's going to be.
Texas Chainsaw that was kicked out of most cinemas. It was kicked to the drive-ins and the grindhouses because people thought it was a snuff film. So to be fair, it didn't really get a theatrical release.
That's my point. And that movie, once people started to watch it, they realized how good that movie was. Not just good as a genre, but good as a film overall. Same thing with this movie. If Netflix would have been around back in 1974, or streaming services would have been around, a lot of movies like Chainsaw Massacre, the original, would have gotten pushed to streaming. But once people would have gotten their eyes on it, they'd have been like, "Holy shit, this movie's awesome." So
take this movie and take all 5 of the Die Hard movies. Obviously, this movie isn't as good as Die Hard 1. What equivalence from Die Hard 2 to 5? Where would you rank this film?
It's slightly better than 3, definitely better than 4. Probably not as good as 1, 2, or 4 or 5. So
you're saying this is middle of the pack, better than at least 2 of the Die Hard movies?
It's probably in the middle, which is not bad for me. Because the middle of the pack for Die Hard are still good movies. Because even though the third Die Hard movie is only okay, I think this movie is probably right around there. At the very worst, it's better than the 5th one, which was hot garbage. But it's as good as the least good Die Hard movie, or the least good, not the
but
the Russian one that I don't like.
You're as good as the least worst. Like that's a horrible.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like because I've always said that I think the Thor films are the worst standalone films in Marvel. That doesn't mean that I think they're bad films. That doesn't mean that I think the films are bad. I just think that looking at this entire body of work, the worst ones are the Thor ones, but the Thor ones are still pretty good.
Actually, no. The Marvels are the worst. Captain Marvel is worse than Thor. But,
I'm talking about the standalone trilogies that have been completed. We're probably not going to see another Captain Marvel movie, but thank God.
I hope not.
But I mean, of all the OG ones from like the first, well, the ones that actually had 3 movies made, It's like 4 is
Right.
the one that has always been the least good in my opinion, but it's still good. It's just not as good as the rest of the Marvel stuff.
So
I think this movie Carry On is as good as the good Die Hard movies. It's better than the really bad one, the 5th one. But it's just a little bit different, you know.
I get it.
Also,
I just,
Y2K fell on its face as well. It had a budget of $15 million and it made $2 million in its opening weekend.
did you
so
see
they're not getting there either.
I didn't go see Y2K because fuck Rachel Zegler and that whole.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, Rachel Zegler fucking killed that movie. She's gonna fucking
Did
ruin
you
it
see
in
the-
life, but that's a different.
Did you see
That's a different
the
video.
Fred Durst cameo that they do in that movie? I saw it on Twitter. They
That makes that
they
so
have a-
much worse.
they have a CGI Fred Durst he looks like he did back in the 90s with the bald head and the white T-shirt, and she gives him the red Yankee hat. So he goes like, he goes like, it's time to
That's
go
not
bring
canon.
you
Get
know,
the
or
fuck
whatever.
outta here.
So yeah, so
Yeah, she like tosses his head all cool and says, "Yeah, keep rolling, man. Just one of them days." Shut
I
up.
don't know if he says keep on rolling, but I know he says break stuff because I saw that scene on.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Just one
Of course he would. It's his only claim to fame.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Or that fucking movie he made with John Travolta where he was like a fan or something, and he.
Oh god, what the fuck was that movie called? It was an awful movie that Fred Durst made because of course he had to like jerk himself off in the movie. Like the main guy gets in the car, yeah, and he gets in the car. He's like, yeah, son, you like Limp Bizkit? I'm like, don't put yourself in a movie like that. Fucking idiot.
I like a little bit of Limp Bizkit from back in the day. Some of their stuff is cool.
He's also worked in a number of independent films. Co-starred Population 436. I've never heard of it.
It's called The Fanatic. Sorry, with John Travolta.
The
That's what I was
Fanatic.
trying to think of. The Fanatic was the one I was thinking of.
American psychological thriller film directed and co-written by Fred Durst. It stars John Travolta as Moose, an autistic man who develops an unhealthy obsession with his favorite actor, Hunter Dunbar, and stalks him.
Huh.
Whatever.
It's not great. I think it was like also Fred Durst was like, it was like something that happened to him. It's like, yeah, of course with fame you get people that like just overstep boundaries, and it's like, well, this is a little different. He's autistic. I don't think he realizes he's doing it, but yeah. I think the hilarious part too is the guy that plays the actor or whatever is the guy who was Stan in the music video. So the irony of having somebody who's like obsessed with you. It all comes full circle. Yeah. There's a whole scene where the guy's like in the car jamming a Limp Bizkit, like showing it to his son. I'm like, dude, stop. Jesus Christ. Yeah, if you didn't know that, now you know. And knowing's half the battle.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
We could I could do without Limp Bizkit, except the fuck song. The fuck song's pretty dope.
I mean, you can't tell me you want to actually start breaking stuff and like a
And break
chaos
stuff.
room.
Break stuff is a dope video too.
Break stuff is a good one, yeah.
Past that, I could do without Limp Bizkit. Those are really the only two really good songs they made.
Yeah.
Their cover of Behind Blue Eyes wasn't terrible.
True. I was they did cover that, which was good.
I can't think of anything else I listen to of theirs on a regular basis.
No one knows what it's like. Yeah.
Anyway, but we'll start to close things up there. I want to get your guys' final thoughts on Carry On. I'll start with you first, Tex. Give me your final thoughts on Carry On Netflix.
Not a bad movie, but not a great one. Very, very forgettable to me. All you diehard Christmas people can finally say you actually have a fucking diehard Christmas movie because there's no argument with this one. It's the great value of many action movies, hits, whatever. It's kind of like a greatest hits tour or a tribute band of the level of Die Hard. But, fuck the TSA. Even this movie could not make me like them. So, they can go to hell for trying to molest everybody. And they just, they're just very vile people. So, whatever. So.
Poor Tex. Every time I pick on him about this stuff and get him started off.
Emotional damage.
Well, we're just gonna start doing memes now, aren't we?
Oh god.
You gotta have some fun with them from time to time.
I need you to get it. Man, there would have been a really good deep cut from a picture song where it shows a TSA guy like
he's like reaching right up Main Street, and this guy, and the lyric is, I wanted to be a cop, but I'm not smart enough, so you know how it goes.
You know,
Which is hilarious.
I will say quickly, they really messed up by not getting the Kansas song "Carry On My Wayward Son" as a song playing at some point in this movie. Like maybe at the end, right after he saved the day, could like as he's embracing with the girlfriend and they're walking off into the sun, sunset right over, and you hear Kansas kick in. That could have been a cool ending, but they couldn't even do that right.
Yeah, but when you're talking about music from that era, though, it makes it feel like he's getting ready to fly off to fight in Vietnam or something. It's a little dated.
Now, hang on. Before I pass it to Jeremy, though, do we get Carry On 2 with a Vengeance or Carry Harder or, like Carry On with a knapsack or with the backpack on? Like, how far does this franchise go?
I mean, it probably shouldn't be a franchise, but if they said they were making a second one, I'd be like, what's the story? What's the plot? I mean, I'll listen if you break my heart and be like, oh, it's going to be more of a comedy this time. We're going to have we have a Carry On cinematic universe in this movie, the hero. Next time it can be the guy working at the pretzel stand or at the McDonald's in the airport. Now he has to be the hero. That's how you do this franchise. Now you've got my attention.
It just turns into mall cop then, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to chase around a Segway.
Could you imagine?
He's going to buy a Segway from Kevin James, and that's going to be the connective tissue right there.
But there's like a Chili's at the airport, right? And the bartender, he now has to be the hero and save next Christmas or something. That could be kind of fun. I don't know. Anything could happen, really. Right. I don't know. Jeremy, give me your final thoughts on Carry On Netflix.
Yeah, it was it was an action movie that's at least worth watching once. I mean, I'm not really sure if it has like a rewatchability to it, because it's like, well, what's going to happen there. It's not really a thing to go back and you realize, oh, that's what happened. Oh, that makes sense now. But it's worth watching through once. It was kind of fun. So not a bad movie to just kind of sit and watch for a while. It was like 2 hours or something. It kept it going from takeoff to landing to take your shoes off, turn around and cough. I don't know.
He should have took his fucking shoes off. But at no point did it.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier. No one took any shoes off. That's wild.
He didn't even have a cool tagline. There's no yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. He didn't even do that shit. He just, so bland.
That's probably a good thing, though, because then you would have been like, you're just trying to be more like Die Hard. Just be your own.
Why not? They copied everything else from Die Hard. Well, why not get the cool stuff, too? Go walk on glass barefooted with a gun duct taped to your shoulder.
When you pulled the bomb out, you should have been like, I got your detonator right here. I don't know. Should have done something.
The taglines have to come naturally, though, because it comes naturally in Die Hard when he says yippee-ki-yay.
You can't do an 80s action movie and not have taglines. That's like page one stuff of must-haves. They missed out on that.
I think it was all right. I thought the movie was a lot of fun. I mean, is it the best action movie ever made? No. It is kind of a nice little homage to the between 1985 and 1995 when all action films were kind of the same thing. It does feel kind of like that kind of film. It's entertaining. It's very well acted. The characters were good. Again, Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton they act the shit out of this film. They're great together. Matter of fact, I forgot to mention earlier, one of the things I really liked about this film is that they actually get to meet and talk. So when Taron Egerton is sitting there in the terminal and Jason Bateman's character walks up to him and starts talking to him, I'm like, that's the kind of shit I like. I talk all the time about how I love that scene between De Niro and Pacino and Heat, the diner scene. It's like when the good guy and the bad guy have a chance to have a real conversation, you can really connect there in ways that you can't connect when these guys are just throwing punches at each other. So it was that kind of stuff is one of the things that kind of sets this movie apart. You don't really get that in a Die Hard movie. That's something you didn't really. I mean, you had that moment in the first Die Hard where McClane is talking to Alan Rickman's character, but it's not really that because he's trying to trick him. So they don't really have a chance to have that conversation. But this really honest time, this really honest dialogue going back and forth between two characters, I thought was fantastic. That was very well done. look, I think it's a fun movie, and if you've got Netflix, it's all it's going to cost you is a couple hours of your time to watch. Again, the pacing I thought was great. I thought it was just a very well put together movie by a director who's probably on his way up. I mean, we talked already about some of the things that he's done, a couple of things that he did that weren't so great, but I mean, and so I mean, look, his career's getting off to a pretty solid start as a director, as far as I'm concerned. I actually like the movie pretty well. I'll watch it again. Maybe I'm not going to run to Netflix to watch it again, but if I'm bored one day and I'm flipping through Netflix, I might hit play on this again just to watch. And maybe there was something I missed about it. The performances were great. It was a fun movie overall. I think you guys should check out. It's available on Netflix, like I said. So if you have a Netflix account, go get on Netflix, watch it. It's a couple hours long. It's an hour to what was it? 100 and I forget what you said it was.
I think it was like an hour 58 or maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, something like that. But it like I said, the movie is very well paced. You don't feel like the movie drags very often. There's a few things, but other than that, it was a fun movie. I thought it was a good watch. So give it a shot. If for nothing else, for Jason Bateman's performance, he's a great villain. He is a fantastic villain in this movie. And this movie is made. But yeah, I want to thank my co-host for coming out and being so awesome as usual. Starting with my hetero life mate Jeremy. Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
Right here, maybe except for Thursdays because I refuse to do the Die Hard movies, and I'm like, I mean, it was genuinely just getting buried in busyness, and I just like didn't do the first couple, and I was like, I'm not jumping in the middle. I don't jump into the middle of the story, so it's whatever. So
you'll like 4. I think you'll like 4.
4 is the only one that I like. The other ones suck. I don't care.
If you like the fact that a Gen Xer got outplayed by a millennial in this movie, I think you'll kind of dig the
and Die Hard 4 has Kevin Smith in it too.
Yes, Kevin Smith is in Die Hard 4.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll be here Tuesdays. Next one's what? Wolfman or something? I think
Wolfman's coming up. That's going to be next Tuesday, I think. Does that come out this weekend?
So I'll be here for that. Nothing's hooked up, so nothing's happening.
Getting stuff hooked up.
No, I mean, I don't know.
So people can go there and watch Jeremy and Rachel do their gaming shit.
Yeah, we can see, and then you can compare, how much better I am than Casey. So I'll just start taking all of his subscribers. It'll be great.
I don't even have a system, and I'm better than Casey. There's no comparison there. It's just one of those things.
You know which end of the gun goes boom, and you know which direction to shoot. I mean, you at least got that going.
Well, when all you play is side scrollers, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of options.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Hey, and the Shape and Lone Star State, my man Tex. Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
Here done. I don't know what the hell we're doing Thursday, but it is werewolf week for me, as Frank just alluded to. I'm living in good times because the last movie I saw in the theater was a vampire movie, and the next one I'm going to see is a werewolf movie. So we are eating good right now, as the kids say. But what I have decided to do this week is just kind of watch some werewolf movies. Pick your favorite ones, whatever. I've decided to go with the original Wolfman, of course, American Werewolf in London, and maybe the 2010 Wolfman. Like, that's kind of what I'm watching this week, and we'll see what I get to before Thursday. But, if you want to, get some Wolfman shit going, because who doesn't love the furry little dude? He's awesome. So, watch Wolfman.
Shit, watch the original one, the black and white one. That's always fun, too.
That's what I was talking about. The original Wolfman is what I'm starting with.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that. Okay.
Yeah, we need to find some old Lugosi monster movie shit from back in the day to review. There's got to be.
I've got a whole entire DVD pack that has all the originals, like all the Universal stuff.
All of them. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm down to review all the Universal stuff. It gets especially fun once you get like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and Dracula's in there. Those are some of my favorite ones. So anytime you want to do some Universal horror, I am down, buddy. I love it. For that.
As for me, you'll find me back here on Thursday, probably with Tex, maybe with Jeremy. Maybe he wants to say that. I don't know. To do Die Hard 3. And then, like I said, next Tuesday, we'll probably do the Wolfman. I'm looking to go see it this weekend. So I'm pretty confident I'll be able to do that. And then we'll do that one on Tuesday. I'm really looking forward to the Wolfman. That looks like a pretty wild movie. I'm hoping it's going to be pretty awesome.
He looks like a meth head. He doesn't look like a werewolf.
As long as there's a lot of cool deaths and shit like that, I really don't care.
As long as the transformation is cool.
Yeah. Well, as long as that works, I'll be okay with just about anything else. But thank you guys for coming to hang out. Adios. I think Tex is just being too critical. I just think he's mad because he's not as good looking as Taron Egerton.
I guess that's what I was worried about.
I'm more worried about how he pulled a number like her. Like, he had to be really funny or something, because I don't believe that for a second.
Was it me, or was his girlfriend's eyebrows growing throughout the film? Every time you saw them, they got thicker.
It may have been.
The father. Like, I was like,
Like the
what
cop's
is going
hat
on
in
with
like
her
Scary
forehead?
Movie just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you see her in the beginning, she looks all normal. By the end, her eyebrows look like she's Groucho Marx or something.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.